On today's wrestling news, the WWE Draft is returning.
Finn Balor reveals that he absolutely shredded his calf up before WrestleMania.
We've got an update on Bayley and her WWE status.
And Randy Orton is nowhere near a WWE in-ring return.
Are you ready? Are you ready for the news time? Yes, my name is Phil Chambers and I'm joined by Gareth Morgan over there to talk about all wrestling things. But before we get into it, make sure you like the video, comment down below what you think of each of today's stories. Subscribe to the channel and links to each story is in the description and the timestamps, so click them and off you go. But first up, the WWE Draft is coming back. Triple H, he came out on SmackDown last night. He had another bit of a promo segment thing like he did on Raw. Basically just hyping up how great WrestleMania was until he went on to talk about the WWE Draft. And he says it's in a few short weeks the draft will once again return to WWE. So there were reports going around before this that the WWE Draft, having one this year, wasn't exactly set in stone. Last year was the first year without a WWE Draft since 2015, and obviously recently there's been a lot of relaxing of the rules about what superstars and what brand, and people have been floating about, and especially in the sort of build-up to WrestleMania, people have kind of been all over the place. But it is returning, it is coming back. Apparently everyone in the locker room is eligible. What this means for the likes of like the Judgment Day and especially the Bloodline, and then other tag teams, they seem to like splitting up tag teams in these things in the past, is yet to be seen. We're gonna have to wait and see. But Triple H at the end of this promo, he said, when it's all said and done, this year's draft will truly change the game. Get it?
See what he did there?
I see what he did there.
Yeah, draft time, baby. It's a weird one, this. You want to get excited, but we know what they're doing. We know what they're doing. So all the smoke screen. Don't talk about the things behind the scenes that we know that you don't want us to see. It's just that. That's pretty much what has happened. And I think the reports going into last night with that Triple H was just going to go and say the same kind of rah-rah speech as what he did on Raw. He kind of did until the draft bit. But the draft bit, again, it was just, there you go. Fun stuff's going back. We've not completely ruined it. Ha-ha. And I'm a bit apprehensive about it. I love seeing like a few people pop up and go on different shows because it's just like a nice refresh for a lot of characters that need it sometimes. Like I think Ricochet went over to SmackDown and he felt like he had a bit of a jolt of life back into himself when he did that, like in the last one. So that's always cool. But I don't want to see the Judgment Day split up. I don't want to see the Bloodline break up. It's unless they move them as factions, things like that. I'd be happy with that, I guess. But I don't know. I'm excited, but it's the most bittersweet draft I think in quite some time. So I don't really know how to feel about it. But speaking of things well, I didn't really know how I felt about it after I watched the match itself, the Hell in a Cell thing that went down WrestleMania 39, because it was a bit weird, a bit stunted, obviously because somebody got the head split in half midway through the match. Another big takeaway, or like a bit of detail to add to this match, and it completely kind of changes the way you look at it really for me, is that Finn Balor tore his calf about 3 weeks before WrestleMania, apparently. Now, he's put this on Instagram. He did a big old story talking about it, and the estimated recovery time for a torn calf, a grade 2 tear, is 6 to 8 weeks, but he did it in 3 because he's a demon. And demons can recover very quickly. And he showed, like, on this little Instagram video, you see his calf doing some weird, like, jiggly poppy stuff. Like, it looks in a bad way. He had it in, like, a boot at one point as well. But he came back. I don't think he did any wrestling for 3 weeks in the lead up to... I don't know if he did the Battle Royale, maybe at a house show, things like that. But he didn't really do much bumping. So they were very good in the way that they covered it, to be honest, because nobody could see it going in. But then all that therapy, those swearing and all these things, I had a really long, arduous kind of rehab period. All that to get your head split in half. Hell in a Cell. And I think in the end, he ended up having temporary staples. He had an injection to his head on the night, and then he had 14 staples put in afterwards, because, yeah, it was a baddie, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. I don't know how... I've not gone back and watched this match yet, because obviously we were there live. But when we were there, like, you could see as he went over to the corner, and then all the, like, refs and medical people come, and then he's just there, and then you just see his legs, like, slamming against the floor at one point. And it's like, oh, what are they doing to the poor guy? And then we found out later that he was getting injected and stapled while he was in the ring.
Yep.
So he's a tough bastard, is Finn Balor, it seems. Add this sort of calf injury into the mix as well, and then, yeah, all that recovery just to have a ladder thrown at your head. Poor guy.
I mean, he did a coup de grace through a table with that poor calf. Like, it's
just tough. Jesus, man.
Just
calm down. But speaking of WWE, still an update on Bayley. There was a lot of speculation coming out of WrestleMania about what Bayley's future is within the WWE. After Damage Control lost at WrestleMania, Bayley did a tweet just saying that sometimes the most romantic love story comes to an end with bye written at the end of it. Then on WWE Raw, Damage Control came out and she wasn't there, and she wasn't even mentioned on commentary as well. And then we later found out by Fightful that she was cut from the WWE Raw after WrestleMania after changes made by Vince McMahon, obviously. But we've got an update on all of this from PW Insider Elite, where WWE sources have indicated to Mike Johnson that there is no expectation of Bayley leaving. The social media stuff apparently is just a case of Bayley building up some buzz and stirring the pot a little bit, and there is no signs of Bayley being unhappy or that her creative is being dropped. Now obviously next week we're going to get Becky and Lita defending those tag titles against Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. I still think they're probably going to split up Raquel and Liv and hopefully turn Raquel heel and do something much more interesting with her in that match going forward, but we'll have to wait and see how much Damage Control is involved in this story with the tag titles, or Bayley, or how Damage Control and Bayley are going to fit together, or if they're going to split up, or if they're just kind of going to forget about it a little bit until the draft and they'll use that to split them up. Who the hell knows going forwards, but it seems like Bayley and WWE at least are still on good terms and she isn't going anywhere.
Yeah, and it is always interesting to note that Damage Control was not a Vince idea. Like, it really wasn't, and I think he was umming and ahhing on whether to bring Bayley back kind of around that SummerSlam period in the first place. It wasn't Vince's call, so you just get a bad feeling, don't you? It's not one of those where it's like, okay, yeah, we're being worked and something exciting's coming down the road. It's a bit more of a, I feel like we're not being told the full story here, and this is just preservation. So I love Bayley. I think she's great. I think everyone involved in Damage Control has needed something fresh, and I felt like we were going to get that on that Raw after Mania from the original plans. They were going to have those triple threats. I think Io Sky was involved in one of them. Let them all just have a bit of a go, like different singles characters and different arcs, and just go for it and do something different. But now it doesn't even feel like we're going to get more of the same. It's just kind of going, okay, that unit, we're just going to put them over here for a bit and just go in a different direction completely. And that's not great, because they're brilliant. All three of them are class, and they could do something exciting on Raw or SmackDown or anywhere, really. So they just need someone to put a bit more faith in them, and I don't think Vince is that person. But speaking of somebody that Vince does very much like, clearly, from the way that he's been booked over the last 20 years, is Randy Orton. Because, yeah, the Apex Predator is multi-time world champion, future Hall of Famer, you know all the words. But the latest update we've had about all things Randy Orton, obviously he's not been seen on WWE television since May of last year, in that last match against the Usos, where he's teamed up with his arcade bro guy Riddle. The latest update we've got here from Dave Meltzer, the Wrestling Observer newsletter, in that latest edition of it, is that despite reports of people saying he was in LA for WrestleMania 39, a lot of people thinking, oh my god, he's going to pop up on the Raw after Mania, or maybe even at Mania itself, and he's going to RKO Miz's head off. That wasn't ever going to happen, because he said that those at WWE noted prior to WrestleMania that Randy Orton's back injury was nowhere close to allowing him to return to in-ring action. And this was said to Dave as a way of kind of just squashing the rumors so people didn't expect that big surprise to happen. But Dave chose to not say it before WrestleMania, so we all got excited. So not very happy about that. But the big thing with Randy Orton is you just want the guy to be healthy, have a good quality of life. If that means he can never do another RKO in the middle of the ring, I'm okay with that. We've seen plenty over the last 20 years. I just want the guy to be happy. I saw a picture of him and he was flexing next to like some kids in it looked like some kind of building site, whatever it was. But he looked very happy and he looked jacked. So I want that Orton to be happy and not be forced and rushed back into a WWE ring anytime soon. So yeah, it just is what it is, I guess, at this point. No Orton yet, and probably not for some time.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely one of just wait and make sure you are absolutely ready to return before you come back with this one. Meanwhile, when we're talking about this on the, what was it called? New Direction after WWE WrestleMania, which you should go check out the video, because we filmed it on Sunset Boulevard in LA, and it's just nice times. But we were pitching doing Austin Theory going on a little bit of a legend killer type gimmick run, where obviously he's taken down Cena and Ray on Raw. And then he goes through like legends, few legends as he goes along, till eventually he starts calling himself like the new legend killer or whatever. And then he gets Randy Orton when he finally comes back, and Randy Orton kicks his head off or something. But that'd be a nice way of returning him, when give him quite a long time before he actually has to come back or anything like that. But yeah, it's very much wait until you are absolutely ready to return before coming back with this one. As with all of these sort of new injuries, let's just make sure people are happy and healthy before rushing back to the ring.
Yeah.
But that is it. That is the news. Thank you very much for joining us. I just want to give a quick shout out to everybody we met in LA for being such lovely, lovely people. It's weird getting recognized so much all the time, and then coming back to normality. I kind of miss being famous, not gonna lie.
You're always famous over here, Phil.
No, I'm not. But it was very nice to meet everyone, and everyone was so lovely. So thank you very much for being lovely people. But also follow us on Twitter. That's the thing that you can do. You can follow me at @FillMyChambers, and you can follow Gareth
at GMorgan04, and check out loads of Star Wars news that's going to drop over on the Star Wars channel today, because that's a big thing as well that's happening. I don't know what the crossover is of wrestling Star Wars fans. I'm just taking a shot. So
find out.
Go check it out. Why not?
I tell you what, I'll put a link on the screen right now, and just follow us all at WhatCulture WWE. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment down below what you think of all of today's videos, but most importantly, have yourselves a bloody good day.
Bye-bye.